I have actually been fan dubbing for over 8 years.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna give you a more advanced script. This is the first script I did in the class where I got this stuff with Charlie Adler. It's one of my all-time favorites. This is a villain character. I don't remember what show it's from. If you know, shout it out. This guy's name is Rip and Reap. Part-time villain, full-time foe. Let's go down. So we have a really big description on this one. So we're just going to do the bullet points, but give it a read. So basically, this guy is pompous, cruel, murderous nemesis, and he's the art teacher of the protagonist. So that already, that's hilarious. He sort of jumps between two worlds, the suburbs and this like villainous alternate world. And he's very charismatic and full of himself. He's not a buffoon or a jokester. He's pure evil, even though he often delights in how evil he is because of his narcissism. He's unintentionally hilarious because he'll constantly be undermined by his henchmen and outsmarted by our heroes. So we have ourselves a Wile E. Coyote type character here, basically. Constantly thinks he has the upper hand and never does. Jesse and James, well acted. Does that give you a good?
Yeah, I think I got a pretty good idea.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this guy's very angry. Let's skip this file. I want to pick one of my favorite ones. Hold on. Okay. Line number 2. See this? You may not be a real hero. So one more time before we do this, I want you to look at the picture of the character. And my first voiceover coach, Tony Gonzalez, gave me a great piece of advice. These character pictures, you don't always get them, but it's a total blessing when you do, because you can literally put it into your mind and use it like a toy to manipulate your voice. That's how he described it. Look at Rip and Reap and his so smug face, thinking he's won, and use that as your initial motivation for what thoughts come into your head. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I wish we could look at both of them at the same time, but unfortunately this is a small screen.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, try the second line, whatever comes into your head, thought-wise. Put that forward.
You may not be a real hero, but you're going to die like one.
Woo!
So he's obviously going to be typecast as these villain characters for a long time. So you did a reversal here. Obviously, this is a very clean-cut, obvious reversal. You may not be a real hero, but you're going to die like one. There's some comedy in that. There's some menace in that. And he aims his weapon, which is sort of completing the 3 there. Your reversal that you did, I don't know what your thought was, but you did, dark and menacing at the beginning. You may not be a real hero, and then you get angry at the end, but you're going to die like one. What if you reversed it? Reverse the reversal. So start this with a thought like, an angry thought like, something like, do you have any ideas that you'd like to pitch first? I don't want to give you one if you got one.
No, I'm liking your idea, so I'm going to try that.
Sure. Try, you little twerp. That's a good thought to start this line. And then, when he aims his weapon in the beginning, say, your thought out loud could be, oh, but I'm going to love this. Just, I love this. Simple thoughts are always better. So, you little twerp, and I love this. Say the line, but insert those 2 in the middle. Is that, you got that?
I got it.
And see how that affects the performance.
You little twerp, you may not be a real hero. Oh, I love this. But you're gonna die like one.
We got some laughs, we got some glorious applause from that because it's a very clear reversal and audiences love clear reversals because it tells us who the character is, it hits the beats exactly the way the writers intended, and you nailed it right there. He's obviously very frustrated, but then you see he loves being the villain in the second part. So a really important way to come up with these kinds of thoughts is just constantly practicing saying them out loud. Because obviously in the audition, when you're finally recording it, you don't want to say them out loud. But it really helps to get yourself there to begin with. Does everyone follow?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's try another line, because
All right.
I really like you as this guy.
I really like this guy too.
Let's do line 4. See, your parents, yes?
Your parents, yeah?
So I'm not going to give you any context on this. I just want you to think some thoughts. You can say them out loud if you want. You can think them, but pick however you want to tackle this.
Your parents, yes. I'm looking forward to seeing them at back to school night. Oh wait, that's right. I trapped them in the most dangerous world imaginable. So I guess they won't be making it.
Just a little side note. That little, I guess they won't be making it. That's referred to as a sing-song tone. In a lot of directors' lexicons, and that's often called for because it's just so devilish. It's really fun to play with. You did some really interesting stuff with that. Did you have specific thoughts, or did you just tackle it?
No, it was just mostly winging it and doing what felt right for the characters.
Yeah, and you do get to a point, like for me, I don't, when I'm doing a script, especially for on-camera stuff where it's very involved with the scene part, I'm not always thinking my immediate thoughts, but if I've prepared them before in my rehearsal, they just sort of come organically without me registering them. And you can get to a point where that's totally good. In rehearsal, obviously, you have to do the legwork. So let's add some thoughts into this one.
Mm-hmm.
How about before this, your parents, yes. Oh, they're lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Mm-hmm. And then at the 2 dashes, the oh wait, that's right. Oh, but they're not going anywhere. Try that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Right. So let's see, what was the first one?
Oh, they're lovely.
Oh. Your parents, yes. Oh, they're lovely. I'm looking forward to seeing them at back to school night. Wait, what's that?
It's cool, it's cool. That was great. Now try, what was the thought? I forgot. They're not going anywhere.
Your parents, yes. Oh, they're lovely. I'm looking forward to seeing them at back to school night. Oh, wait, that's right. They're not going anywhere. I trapped them in the most dangerous world imaginable. So I guess they won't be making it.
Because you've done this before, can I really challenge you on this next one?
All right.
I really want you to go for some like high stakes thoughts to like really elevate this, because this guy is the biggest part of this show, as far as energy goes. So instead of, oh, they're lovely, try an even stronger thought with more exclamation marks. Oh, I adore them. And then when the switch happens, to try, just kidding, I hate them. And yell it out as strongly as possible. And get a little, have that be an angry thought.
All right. Oh, your parents, yes. Oh, I adore them. I'm looking forward to seeing them at back to school night. Oh, wait, that's right. I hate them. I trapped them in the most dangerous world imaginable. So I guess they won't be making it.
High-stakes thoughts. And sometimes, you don't have to change the thoughts. It could have still been, oh, they're lovely, but you add 3 more exclamation marks to it, oh, they're lovely! And that changes the entire first half of the line. And then you have a super clear reversal when this dash happens in the middle. And that's the writer telling you, like, this is where the joke is. Make the turn as fast and as hard as possible. And you did an excellent job with that. Props. Let's have one more. Let's get some volunteers. What's your name? Johanna. Everyone welcome Johanna to the stage. Not an easy thing to do, so seriously. Props. We're going to give you a character that I'm guessing is a lot older than you actually are. So, this is Deputy Mayor Kransky. Former stay-at-home mom turned deputy mayor of Macchio Falls, a part-time position. Cheeky. And a member of Crime Incorporated, the secret organization behind the most nefarious crimes in Macchio Falls. Immediately, we already have a very interesting dichotomy of a stay-at-home mom who works part-time, which is a total image, and then a member of a secret villain organization literally called Crime Incorporated that does these awful crimes in this town. So that's already a lot of really good information there. Again, we have a really fun dichotomy. President of the PTA, troop leader of the Girl Scout group called Adventure Girls, looks a lot like Sarah Palin. Not a lot of Americans in the room, but I'm guessing a lot of you know who Sarah Palin is.
Not really, but I'm guessing she's kind of two-faced.
I
I got the impression from the character, I'm sorry.
She can see Russia from her backyard. It's actually, I'm glad that you don't know who she is because I'm not a big believer in these celebrity comparisons for these descriptions. I think that it lures people and into falling into the trap of playing like a trope, of trying to play that person rather than creating an organic character. So oftentimes, you'll get really horrible character descriptions that say like, you're good, you're good. What did I say about your phones? You didn't say shit. You did too. Listening. You get extra credit, none of you.
I'm so sorry.
No, you have to stay. Stay in my class forever and ever. So yeah, oftentimes you get a description that says like, you know, Rob Schneider meets Helen Mirren, and that tells you nothing. Like it's just platitudes. It doesn't help you at all.
Let there be light.
Praise the Lord. I'm having too much fun. So you don't know who that is. That's great. She's pretty, polished, possibly dabbles in witchcraft. Again, pretty, polished witchcraft. That's universal. Even though it's not a line, it's funny because of it. A master of manipulation, she has everyone from the chief of police to the director of the Department of Parks and Recreation under her thumb. Wants to use her power to become mayor and rule the town as a full-fledged dictator. She sounds sugary sweet even when she's being utterly sadistic. So you have literally a reversal inside a character here. So much fun to play. There's going to be tons of reversals in this. Let's take a look. Also, this is what she looks like. Look at that smile. Is that not creepy? So just take a mental picture of that, mental snapshot, and use that as your toy while you're learning the script. Okay, let's see. Okay. We're going to do, I think, line 2. Hold on. Some auditions are really short. They'll only have 4 lines. Some of them are like literally 18 pages. You never know what you're going to get. Let's start with line 2. This is fun. Okay. So her phone rings during the Crime Incorporated meeting. She answers it. Judge tells her to get off the phone, and then she says something to the judge. So you already have a built-in 3 here. It's a question of how you break it down. So before you even start, try to apply some thoughts to this.
Okay.
Let's just say, to make it easy, 1 before each of these line breaks, if you had to guess anything.
I'm guessing like everyday kind of, oh, hi, hon, no, I'm in a meeting, there's meatloaf in the fridge, you know, kind of.
Right. So what would the actual verbal thought be? Because, you know, you can play like, oh, this is normal for me, but if you actually have literally hear the character saying the thought in your mind, it becomes a lot stronger. But that's the right tone, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she's probably like busy doing something else. I don't know, maybe she's like tending to a baby or something. Well, she's kind of, I don't know.
Right. So she's attending to, I'm assuming her child and her husband here. So the first part of this, you know, she answers the phone as Deputy Mayor Kransky, and you go, oh, hi, hon, that's a reversal right there in front of the intro. And nope, I'm in a meeting, there's a meatloaf in the fridge, like, oh, honey, you're so funny, I told you this morning, like, that's the kind of thing you're thinking. Same thing with this gotta go, love you too, because the judge tells us to get on the phone, and then this, how about we just kill the ninja? What do you think the thought is before that?
I have no idea. She seems kind of psychotic.
Oh, very much so.
Just a little bit.
So I'm going to give you a thought for this. So how about after you say Deputy Mayor Kransky, the thought is, oh, honey, you're so silly. And the thought before, how about we just kill the ninja, is,
Back to business.
back to business is good. That's the right tone. Let's go with something a little bit more high stakes.
Let's get this done.
Yeah.
Let's get over with.
Finally.
Great one. Good suggestion. Let's get this over with. I've had it with this ninja kid, ruining all my evil plans. Let's get this over with. You got it?
Gotcha.
So give it a try. Just say the thoughts out loud if you want. Keep them in your head if you want, but keep that in mind.
Deputy Mayor Kransky. Oh, hi, hun. No, I'm in a meeting. There's a meatloaf in the fridge. I gotta go. Love you too. How about we just kill the ninja?
So you've broken this down in exactly the way the writer wants you to. You have hit all the beats the right way. Now let's raise the stakes to make it even more fun. Right? I want to, at the very beginning, if you can handle it, before Deputy Mayor Kransky, you should be in the mode of how about we just kill the ninja at the top, because that's what you were just talking about. The moment before is a huge part of these thoughts. You have to remember exactly where you're coming from and where you're going. So, you got to be kidding me. Deputy Mayor Kransky. I don't want to give you a line read, but something like that. Very business. You've had it with the ninja. And then, you get sugary sweet like you did. And I want to strengthen your thought before, how about we just kill the ninja? Instead of, let's get this over with, make it, if you don't mind saying it, motherfucker. Swear any thoughts, they're never going to hear it on the recording, and if it strengthens your read, good fucking job. Very much so, very much so. Give it a shot.
Deputy Mayor.
All good.
Deputy Mayor Kransky. Oh, hi, hon. No, I'm in a meeting. There's a meatloaf in the fridge. Oh, I gotta go. Love you too. How about we just kill the ninja?
Nope, I'm in a meeting, there's a meatloaf in the fridge. And then, how about we just kill the ninja? Was that not hilarious?
Yes.
Exactly. What's something interesting I didn't tell you to do, that you did do, which I loved, you put a thought before the gotta go, love you too. You read the parenthetical, the judge tells her to get off the phone. So, not only did you notice the judge telling you to get off the phone with your tone, like, oh, I gotta go, you also sounded a little bit pissed off that he was trying to rush you off the phone. Whether you realized it or not, you added so much depth in that one little bit of dialogue that most of the people that get the audition, they're just going to railroad right through. And that's the kind of stuff that books jobs. So I'm about to open it up for Q&A before we close out. Does anyone have any questions about the process or anything related to BO? You have one right here, Ruby.
Do you always use swear words in thoughts, even for characters like Steven? And also, have you said that in his voice?
Okay, I have a weird thing with the Steven voice. I swore in it once by myself at home, and it was so gross I couldn't do it again. However, occasionally, I don't know if she'll want me to tell you guys this, Rebecca will give me thoughts in the booth with swear words in them. Obviously, it's like, when I do the line, I'm not using that thought because, Steven probably wouldn't use that thought. However, that's the inspiration behind it, and Rebecca is totally unafraid to go there, so. Yeah, obviously, if it helps you, I think if a character is that wholesome that you wouldn't think it because that's not an actual character thought that your character would think. But if it helps you nail the tone down right and then you adjust it later, then that's a great rehearsal process. Right here. Yeah, I mean, puberty was the hardest part of my voiceover career. For sure. I think the hardest part is managing vocal health. I play rock music now. I'm doing high-stress VO sessions multiple times a week. I'm traveling. I stay out late with my friends because I'm 20. it's a lot to balance, and you really have to, do your vocal exercises, which I highly recommend. Anybody that wants to do this, start doing singing exercises, not just to warm yourself up, but for more vocal control. I have my vocal control because of my singing training. And drink a lot of tea, protect your voice, protect your health. That's been the most challenging part of it for me so far. Right here, Mr. Matthias.
Have you ever been really starstruck when you had you playing in front of another actor that you really look up to?
Totally. One in particular. Does anyone in the room know who D. Bradley Baker is? Good.
Yeah.
If you don't, you totally should. He's one of the most legendary voice actors working today. He's an incredible person. Not just for his character work. My personal favorite. He's number 4 on Code Kids Next Door. My favorite character on my favorite cartoon ever. But he also has this monopoly, practically, on monster, animal, and creature noises. And being in the booth with him, watching him play Gargoyles, or Lion on Steven Universe, or Appa and Momo on Last Airbender, it is a treat to watch. And I had to do creature voices with him once, and that was pants-shittingly terrifying. But it worked out, and what we have today is Nightmare Hospital on Steven Universe. So, let's go over here. I know you had your hand up earlier. Yeah.
Well, I've got a question for you, which is about accents.
There you go. Square, go right, lad.
What I mean to say by that, if you ever get requests for like a specific accent, like a saturated British or something more Scottish-Irish, like.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you'll get auditions like that all the time, and I know which ones are my strength and which ones are my weaknesses. Did you have more to ask?
No, I was just gonna add more to that bit, but you answered halfway through my sentence.
Sorry. Always thinking. Yeah, you'll get requests for accents and auditions a lot, and it's a huge part of the toolbox. I've worked in Russian accents, I've worked in British accents, I worked in New York accents. Southern accents is a big one for me because I'm actually from the south of the United States. Howdy, partner, that kind of thing. That's a really important part of your toolbox, and you have to know, you have to work on them and imitate and listen to, native speakers who are actually, from that place and study it, and really focusing on specific consonant and vowel sounds and figuring out how they pronounce them every time they pronounce them, and then making it consistent with everything you say. It's incredibly difficult. You can, learn a really good accent and be good at it, but still be inauthentic to actual people from that place. Know what you're good at, know what you're not good at. I know I can do a killer Southern British New York accent. My French accent is hot garbage, and I don't read for auditions in my French accent because I just haven't had time to work on it. So know your strengths and weaknesses with that kind of thing, but it is very important. All the way in the back. Yeah.
Which would be your own favorite vocal exercises to start with?
The most important and universal is the lip trill. It opens up your mouth for diction. It opens up the resonating chambers in your face to get more of that proper resonating sound instead of being in your throat and going from the diaphragm. And it just wakes your voice up in the morning when you have a session at 8:45, an hour from your house. That's my life in a nutshell. A lip trill. Lip trill. T-R-I-L-L. Yeah. Taking notes. That's what I like to hear. There's that one. Ones that exercise a lot of vowel sounds like no, 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 ne, stuff like that. I made a mistake with that one, but normally you hit all the vowel sounds and work all of them at once so that you fully exercise your voice in the morning to get it warmed up. And don't skip on it. I do it a lot, but do as I say, not as I do. It's not good for me, and I should have warmed up today. Right here in the front.
Can you try some accents? Maybe with the...
Oh boy. Deputy Närcon. Oh, hi, hon. Nope, I'm in a meeting. There's a meatloaf in the fridge. Go on, love you too. How about we just kill the ninja? That's not my best one. Swedish, oh god. I don't have the first idea of how I would even do that because I've never. What's that? Talking like this? Yes! I'm just going to imitate you when you talk.
That is amazing!
I hope that it sounds okay, not more offensive.
Very good job, Sven.
Hello. See, it's terrible, it's terrible. I sound like Italian or something. I'll have to practice it for next Närcon when they totally hold me back. Let's do some more. Deputy Mayor Kransky. Oh, hi, hon. Nope, I'm in a meeting. There's a meatloaf in the fridge. Gotta go. Love you too. Yeah, how about we just killed a ninja? Deputy Mayor Kransky. Oh, hi, hon. Nope, I'm in a meeting. There's a meatloaf in the fridge. Gotta go. Love you too. How about we just kill the ninja? And from my home state of California. Deputy Mayor Kransky, oh, hi, hon. Nope, I'm in a meeting. There's a meatloaf in the fridge, though. I gotta go. I love you, too. Bruh, how about we just, like, friggin' kill the ninja? I just booked a recurring guest star role on a show doing that exact voice, like, a couple weeks ago. So, practice your accents, kids. He's here for dude, boy. It's so good. With the flowers on here. Every time.
What do you keep it up? Or do you have any thoughts or like?
Yeah, great question. My tea in the morning helps. Tea, like chamomile tea, is not just good for your voice, but it actually has a calming effect. I have anxiety, so that in general, so that really helps me. Same. Generation Z, we're up. I get really neurotic in the booth. Like I get in there and I start dancing to music that's not playing. I start running in place. Like I move. And when you're working, when you're doing VO, a big thing, you gotta move. Especially if your character's moving, if they're running or they're punching or kicking, you have to simulate that movement in some way to like really create the actual strain in your voice and get your blood pumping. And even when the mic's not rolling, I'm just like doing all my moves like behind the mic and hoping I'm not making a complete idiot of myself. But you know, you just gotta let go and have fun with that.
Like going in a boxing ring.
Exactly. Like I'm like Stallone, like getting ready for Rocky IV. Yeah.
You're prepping for it.
Like in between takes, I'm like, doing cardio all over the place, and you have to pace yourself because those are like 12-hour shoots. So that's not voiceover related. Right here.
I was just wondering if you've ever had or have auditions that are not like at a place to record and send it in, because that's the most common here in Sweden.
Right, that's actually a great question. I forgot to touch on that. So about 60 to 70% of auditions, for me, when you have an agency, they either take place at the agency or you're self-submitting, and then about 30% are at actual studios in Los Angeles and Burbank, from my experience. But my ability to like really dig into auditions and spend time on them improved drastically when I got a home recording setup. And I was investing in it for travel and actual network quality audio in case I needed to do a session on the road, but you don't need something super expensive like that. You can get a $50 microphone and GarageBand on a MacBook, and that's a setup that you can play with at home and really listen back to your auditions, coach yourself, beat it to death for hours on end. Some of the auditions I spent hours on, I heard nothing on, but some of them I put in so much extra time that it ended up landing in the gig. A notable one was The Wind Rises, the Studio Ghibli dub. I played the young protagonist at the beginning in the English dub. It's probably like 7 minutes of screen time tops. But it was, at the time, Hayao Miyazaki's last feature film. The audition went out, had that in big bold text like, you better do good on this one because he's not coming back. And I'm like, I have to be a part of a Miyazaki project. I worked for like 6 hours on that audition because I had that home set up, and it changed everything. Sometimes. Who else? In the wonderful velvet robe, yes.
How challenging is it to both be keeping your voice and at the same time when you're singing? How challenging is it?
That's one of the hardest things I've done. particularly singing in Steven's voice. I mean, other characters I've done are, you know, more towards my natural voice, but Steven is way up here and it's way different. And when you have to sing in that voice, it's like you're doing the voice like twice over. It's insane. You really have to have a good feel, not just through the voice, but like I said at the beginning. Anybody remember?
For the character.
Voices, not character. Characters, not voices. Repeat after me. Characters, not voices.
Characters, not voices.
Once you have that character down and you're thinking those thoughts, and the voice becomes second nature, and it's just an extension of the character and the character's thoughts, that's when it becomes a little bit easier to do it, but it never gets super easy. Recently, now that my voice is stabilized and I've been doing Steven for so long, the last few songs have been a little more effortless. But it takes literally years. It's been a blessing to spend that much time with a single character.
So the latest song was like you were excited and you were like tired after that.
The reunited one?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I finally have reached a place where, like, vocally and emotionally in the booth, I feel comfortable, and that was the end result. A lot more of that coming. I mean, Cartoon Network maintains a strict confidentiality policy. All in the back of the way. Yeah.
What kind of characters are your favorites to voice act and why?
Villains. Villains and villains. I've done a few villains in voiceover. I did a villain on camera show for Amazon called Just Add Magic. Has anyone heard of it? Just Add Magic. It's so random. It's like totally different fan base from Steven Universe, but I played this like evil time traveling 15-year-old who's actually 200, and that was one of my greatest joys. And this rip and reap audition that Matthias did, I did that as like my audition piece for the class that I got these scripts from, and it was one of my favorite things that I've ever done. It was so much fun. Let's see, over here. Yeah.
I want to know, how literal can you be with a script when you're recording, or like,
Great question. Liberal with the words or the?
well, like let's say, yeah, like with the words and with the tonage. Like I want to be. I just recommend you like the description. You said it like you added like oh, gotta go, love ya, you know, it like
Yeah.
you know, and then if you go back to like for Steven, for example, you like for example when you song like and you go up and down, like how literal can you be with the tones and the singing?
Well, with the songs, Rebecca's very insistent on the melodies that are written, so we painstakingly make sure that every note is correct. For dialogue, if you're auditioning for something, the only dialogue that you should be changing or adding is like little tags and things. If, like on the last line of an audition, you have a little tag that you think is funny and you want to add it on, but don't change the actual dialogue because you're going to really upset some writers if you do that on the regular. And it just, you want to show them that you can make their material funny and not have to alter it in any way. Improvisation comes later once you're already on a show and you have a little more stake in the character. As far as like the ooh gotta go, like that's referred to as a nonverbal. That's totally acceptable. That's the kind of stuff that you should be adding if it's adding something to the line without changing the actual language of the line. And those are very effective tools in a voice actor's kit. The oohs and like little laughs you can add at the beginning of ends or during. Laughing through a line is a really interesting way of approaching things rather than, you know, laughing and then saying a line. There's so many things you can do with nonverbals. I could teach an entire hour class on that.
Yes!
See you at the Steven Universe nonverbals panel tomorrow, where we go through Steven Universe episodes and find coffee noises. It'd be fun too, wouldn't it?
Yeah!
We got time for a few more questions. Right here in the pink. Hi. Yeah.
Do you prefer doing voice acting that are like jobs that are similar to like your voice and your accent, or like?
I much prefer doing insane character voices, just because it allows me to get out of my comfort zone. I do love normal voice stuff because, you know, if I come in with like a sore throat, it's not going to affect me from, you know, doing my best job on it. So from that perspective, and it's still a great acting exercise, but I love doing crazy characters. And Steven's a character, the voice that's way different from my own. That Jennifer Deed Ryan, like whenever I get called in for that, I'm elated because it's so dumb and it's like so over the top that I really enjoy that. And they're also, that session, I usually have 2 lines in the episodes they call me in for, so it literally takes 20 minutes and I'm gone. And then Steven sessions, I'm there for 4.5 hours and we're like poring over individual notes and melodies and, details just because it's that kind of show. Your friend right next to you, you've had your hand in for a while. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you think that there is... do you have a tip for some kind of website or something that has a lot of scripts so we can start working? Because I believe that there are a lot of us who want to try their best but can't find scripts like these.
They are out there. I'm sorry, I don't have an exact resource for them, but they are out there. Start for links-wise, D. Bradley Baker, who I mentioned earlier, has a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com that he created because so many people were asking, how do I be a voice actor? And it's basically a catch-all link for all sorts of different resources. Try Googling scripts. I know that there's a script bank out there somewhere, but I don't remember the name of it. Google around, tweeted some voice actors. I know it's out there. Somebody told me the name of it a while back, but I've never had to use it myself. So yeah, sorry about that. Let's take somebody from over here. You've been up for a while.
What's the hardest part about being a voice actor?
Having to work with all those other actors. That's the best part. Like I said, vocal health. It's such a hard thing. For me, I have a very sensitive set of vocal cords, and they can get sent awry really quickly or heal really quickly. Like my concert earlier, I was like hoarse earlier. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it because I was like so hoarse and sore, and then I got out there and it was fine. But it very easily could have been the inverse, and I've really had to learn how to like wrestle with it over the years. Let's see, who have we not heard from yet? How about you? Yeah.
When you voice act, do you make facial expressions to exaggerate emotions?
Yes. 100%. Motions, facial expressions, along with the thoughts that you're thinking, absolutely critical. Must do for me, for most voice actors I know. You've been waiting a while. Yeah.
Do you have any tips to keep it steady?
Yeah, focusing on each individual vowel and consonant sound and figuring out how your character says them, and then practicing them through, do tongue twisters that, stress those individual sounds, and record yourself and play it back until you're able to do it convincingly sounding like the character, then move on to the next one, and constantly run those drills. Once you have become very adept at creating new characters, it will take less and less time to get their new characters and accents. Right here with the glasses on your head.
Oh,
Yeah.
me.
There's 2 of you, sorry.
What's the best way to extend the amount of voices you can train?
Get nuts. Always be, imitation. Imitation is a great way. If you hear a funny sounding, disc jockey, who's got a really, aggressive voice like this, start imitating him in the car. If you hear, all the time, this is a terrible habit because a couple times I've been caught doing it, but I'll be walking down the street and there, a girl or something will walk by and be like, oh my god, and then I told him like that, and I'll just be like, oh my god, and I told him like that. So don't do that until they're out of earshot, but it's not anything malicious, it's just, oh, you had a very funny or interesting tone to your voice, so I wanted to put it into my lexicon. That kind of stuff will really go a long way, and just constantly be doing voices in the shower, in the car, in front of your friends to piss them off. I do all of the above. We have time for one more question, guys. Let's see. How about you, Radio?
What are you most proud of in your voice acting?
Well, thank you. Definitely, 2 things. One, doing it at my age, I definitely take a lot of pride in working with some of the titans of voiceover and being held in that camp at my age. But the most important thing is I think specifically with Steven Universe, the positive impact that it's had on people, and I can't even begin to claim the responsibility or level of responsibility that that Rebecca has for that, and the positive impact she's had on people's lives. But being able to be a part of something like that, and being an artist that's working on something that fulfills you artistically and is fulfilling other people artistically, you know, you can always want more from your career or, you know, be trying to get new stuff, but at its baseline, that is so fulfilling and important. So that's definitely what I'm most proud of. Great question. Guys, this has been so much fun. Professor Zach hates you all. I'm gonna go smoke a pack of Marlboros outside. Wait, before you guys go, I'm gonna get a really dumb selfie of me sitting on the lecture desk with all of you in the back.
Yes!
What's that?
Should we pretend to be studying?
All of you just put a hand up like you're about to ask a question.
Yeah.
Take this for me. Hold them up a little longer. One more.
Great.
I'm sure your families are proud of you. Get the hell out of my class.
Okay. I might have to start watching Steven Universe now.